Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all good? I hope so. Y'all, let's talk about Maurice saying that he lacks emotional intelligence. And everything that I'm saying in this video is my opinion. This is how I'm seeing the situation, alright? So, Maurice said that he lacks emotional intelligence. First of all, I feel like he only said it because he knew that was probably something Kimmy wanted to hear, and it'll make him look like a good boy in front of company, which in turn might give him an extra bump and a longer grind later that night. In my opinion, he not only lacks emotional intelligence, but he also lacks emotional regulation. Emotional intelligence is what will help him understand how Kimmy feels, while emotional regulation is what will help him respect Kimmy's feelings, even when how she feels conflicts with his desires. And if you pay attention to the things he says, like what he says and the thing that he said when they was talking to the therapist, it sounds to me like he's turning his desires into a requirement. And by doing that, he is removing Kimmy's agency, which is her right to decide. And not only that, he's also removing her autonomy, which is her decision to shape the outcomes of the conversation. See, lacking emotional regulation will show up as dominance. It'll show up as authority and pressure, just like when he told Dr. Francis that he doesn't feel like she should tell him no. That's dominance. And usually when a person takes a dominant position, it's out of their need to risk rejection. It also tends to protect their ego from feeling unwanted. Kimmy has said many times that she likes being with Maurice. She wants it just like he does. But when she says no, what he feels is rejection. It probably makes him feel unwanted because of his lack of emotional intelligence and regulation. Because she's clearly not saying she doesn't want to be with him, but that is what his ego is comprehending. And not only that, dominance makes a person eliminate negotiation. The way that he did when they were about to go on the retreat with Dr. Francis, he told Kimmy if she wanted him to go on their retreat, he would compromise by having X 3 times a day while they were there. Kimmy tried to negotiate with 2 times a day, but Maurice got pissed. He had a tantrum, tried to manipulate her feelings, and then walked out of the room. He shifted the emotional labor onto Kimmy by saying, if you don't want to do what you know makes me happy, then okay. That's very toxic and manipulative. Maurice's behavior is similar to that of a fiend. You know, like a sea head. You know how they say a fiend is always chasing the feeling of that first hit, where they get that really strong feeling, that strong rush to the brain. But the more they chase it, the more the brain adapts and it becomes less responsive to it. So they're really trying to create the original feeling. So when they got that first hit, their brain released that dopamine. It was like, hey, I like this. This feels very needed, very important. This is a high priority. So now he has a very strong memory and feeling attached to a high level of stimulation that his brain wasn't used to receiving. Remember when he started looking through those books and watching those 3X videos, he was young. So once he got that hit, it's like, I like this. I want more of this. And often as I can get it. Unfortunately, when it comes to dominance, that desire, that need, in his case, it can also be referenced back to them bringing up the lock on the refrigerator. When Kimmy says no, that's a trigger for him. A moment of PTSD with that lock representing no. But it wasn't a solid no. It was more like a not right now. So if the scenario is, Dad, can I have something out of the refrigerator? No. You already had breakfast. You had a snack. Just wait till dinner. In that scenario, you can look at it 2 ways. Did Maurice just want food or a snack because it was there? Or was he really hungry? Because you know how some kids, they just want it because they see it. So when you go back to Maurice saying having X is not, it's not that he wants it, it's that he needs it. That says to me, that's the appetite he built up while trying to soothe his hunger. But the problem is he has not tried to separate the two, to compartmentalize them. meaning to mentally place that part of his life in a compartment so that it doesn't collide with his marriage or the things that his wife is saying she needs. And the reason he can't do that, in my opinion, is because he keeps putting his PTSD with the lock on the refrigerator in the same mental box as Kimmy saying no, or not right now, or I need more time, I need that quality time. It just feels like that's what he's doing. Another thing, in my opinion, I do not feel like he sees Kimmy as being equal to him. Remember now, these men are students of Kevin Samuels. In order to see your partner as an equal, that requires emotional skills, whereas being dominant or having dominance avoids all of that. So to be equal, he will be asking for meetings in the bedroom versus demanding them. It would be an ask or a warm up to it instead of demanding it. To be equal, he will be giving Kimmy the quality time that she's always asking him for. And when she says no, or I'm not up to it, or let's go spend some time out today, let's do something fun, his response wouldn't be to throw a temper tantrum. And since Maurice, in my opinion, does not know how to regulate his emotions, he often blames Kimmy. And Kimmy said that. She said, "You often make it my fault or blame me." And that goes back to him feeling rejected, which probably goes further back to him feeling insecure. And being told no makes him feel like Kimmy is saying no to him instead of her setting a boundary. Because for him to later understand the reason his dad was saying no and putting the lock on the refrigerator wasn't because he didn't want to feed him, but because he was making sure there was enough food left over for everybody until that next pay period or whatever the situation was. You would think that he would understand that his wife wasn't saying no, she didn't want to have sex with her husband, but that at those times she doesn't have enough to give. Mentally, emotionally, and physically, her body won't allow her to give what she doesn't have. That boundary of no could simply be because her body isn't in the mood. She's dry, she's sore, or she know that regardless if she does use jelly, it may go in fine. But if her body doesn't respond like a slip and slide, and as you keep going in and out, it's going to feel like friction. It may even burn a little because of the friction. She may get those little tears that you can get, when you get a little dry down there. Or for some women who are starting perimenopause or menopause, you get those little tears or those little rips, and she know that after all of this is done, it's gonna hurt. It may take a couple of days for her body to regulate itself, for those little tears and rips to heal, for the swelling to go down. So when you're feeling like she can lay longer than you can stand and her body can't take it, but you're feeling like she's being admirable for rolling over and suffering through it, that's sexual abuse. That's physical abuse. And at that point, you are treating your wife like property. Your marriage is not a contract for access anytime you need it. Just because you feel like she's submitting to being a maid, mule, and a mattress with a hole in it, she is not that. She is not an object. She's a human being who deserves love and respect. And you should be appreciative of the type of woman that you have, because another woman could get so fed up that she pretend to set up a role-playing night, and I doubt very seriously if she got a joystick and secured you to the bed like Kathy Bates did Old Boy in Misery, and decided to share all that love that you think you're giving her 3 times a day, every day. I don't think you like that very much. Now that will literally be what you call tenderism. Okay? But Kimmy, you gotta stand up, baby. You chose to get in a relationship with him. You chose to be engaged, and you chose to marry him, all while knowing who he was and what he was about. So now you either gonna have to shit or get off the pot, because it doesn't seem like he's changing anytime soon. We met him in 2019, and the only thing that has changed is his age. Most people aren't feeling sorry for you anymore. They're not going to try and defend you, only for you to turn on them and take your anger and frustration out on them the same way you did with the rolling over and suffering through it situation. You sat there on that couch and said that you make excuses when it comes to Maurice's mistreatment of you. So you're clear that his behavior, his outrage, his anger towards you is unwarranted, that it's not fair, and that you don't deserve it. But you're still there. And that's very sad. It's like you seem like the type of woman who was never chased, so you became the chaser. But the catch wasn't that good. See, those are the type of fish you supposed to throw back. You don't keep them. But when you come off hungry and thirsty, child, as the old folks say, you'll eat anything. You hear me? When he sat there and played in your face, in my opinion, about knowing that he lacks emotional intelligence, not only that, his inability or willful ignorance to not receive or fully understand that your desire for quality time is like foreplay and will possibly lead to what he wants. You need to go ahead and donate his brain to science. You know what I'm saying? But hey, if you're cool with being his real life version of a 3X girl, his means to an end, do you, boo? But I don't want that for you. I cannot really care for y'all, but at the same time, I would not want a woman to be in a relationship where they do not feel seen, they do not feel loved, where they are constantly talking about the same thing over and over and over again. They're putting their feelings, their happiness to the side just to make this person happy. If Maurice really loves you the way that he says he does, I want him to do better. I want him to get out of his own way, stop thinking that he know everything, stop talking in circles, and sit there and listen and make an effort to give you what you deserve as the person that he so calls loves so much. It should not be that hard. If he loves you the way that he says he does, and he sees and receives the way that you love him, we shouldn't be doing this. Because at this point, it's like you're just doing it for TV to look a certain way. Love her right, or Kimmy, leave him quick. That's it. That's all. I just don't understand. I do not like that type of stuff. I don't like when a woman makes certain choices and the whole time you whining about it when you could have made a different choice. Y'all, get down in the comments. Let me know what you think, because I wanted to do this video from a different perspective, not from the viewpoint, oh, I don't like Kimmy, or I don't like Maurice. I ain't got time for all these. I wanted to think about this in a different way. So y'all get down in the comments. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to y'all later.